Koi Pond update number 15. It's a bit of a cloudy, dreary Sunday. It's been about 3 weeks since my last video where we treated for Costia with FMG, which is formaldehyde and malachite green. And after the 2 weeks, I caught some fish, did some skin scrapes, which I was a little bit nervous about because it was the sort of first time I'd done them properly by myself. Previously I had Kev from Koi Valley here who was helping me out and running me through stuff and how to do it, which is definitely given me a lot of confidence to be able to do it myself moving forwards. So I thought I would today show you me doing some more scrapes today, the best sort of way of bowling your fish, the 3 key areas to scrape across, and then I'll show you some of the stuff that I found a week ago. So a week ago, did the scrapes to check for Costia again. No Costia, fortunately. Instead, we had skin flukes, which is not as bad as Costia. But they were there, and there was quite a few of them, and they are nasty looking little buggers, and the fish were flashing like mad. And you know, they've sort of been put through their sort of paces and things, especially in regards to the fact that I couldn't really feed much as well because the FMG kind of wiped out the bio on my filtration system. It sucked really. So I got some of this new stuff called Flukes Plus, which I believe has now only sort of been out for about a month or so. I treated for that with that last week. I bypassed the drum for about sort of 4 or 5 days. By bypassing the drum, I mean on the rear side of the drum you got some circles which you can basically remove, and so the water just flows completely through, because some drum technologies apparently can strip the Flukes Plus. I think it's more because of the fact that it takes quite a while to dissolve properly. I used a 10-litre watering can which I put it into, filled with pond water, and I had to fill it with pond water about sort of 5 or 6 times until it is fully dispersed within the pond. But it seemed to have worked well, so that's what we're doing today. Is we're doing some more skin scrapes basically to check to make sure that the flukes are now gone and that there's no other sort of nasties or anything like that around. I treated with Flukes Plus last Saturday after doing a big water change after the FMG and things. I haven't seen a fish sort of flash yet, so I'm hoping that that's it somewhat solved. So the key things that I've got here today, these, which is what I use for doing the scrapes with. Now these are basically just you know, sort of pot garden labels that you'd sort of write the plant on and, you know, stick them in the pot kind of thing. But they're really nice because how nice and flexible they are, and they have a nice edge on them to be able to get a decent amount of mucus on them. And so what we're going to do is we're going to catch a couple of fish, we're going to scrape them. I'll show you how or where to scrape them from what I was taught and the best sort of way to go about it. Because I know when I was doing it the first time I was extremely nervous. I found a couple of videos on YouTube and stuff like that, but I didn't find them too helpful. So yeah, so these cost me £6 for over 100 of them. They're very, very easy to clean after being used or to disinfect and stuff like that. And you know, I don't really sort of want to use like a credit card or anything like that. And yes, you can use the microscope slides, but using glass around the pond, you drop it in, you know, if it shatters, something like that, is not very good. Saying that, I do have my slides here. This just to sort of show you the best way to get the mucus off of these onto the slides after the fact. So again, something from Amazon. I think I got a pack of 50 of these and they're about £8. And then the last thing you're going to need is your cover slips. Now I would recommend that you get the double sort of length cover slips, just purely because then you can get a really decent amount of mucus on and you're not trying to cram it all in within a singular square. These are singular squares. I got a couple of the double ones sort of on the way. But yeah, the other thing that I've got here as well in this little spray bottle is something called Tamodine, which is from Vetarc, which is the same makers of the new Flukes Plus. This is only sort of this like sort of like half a bottle. I've got another full bottle indoors. The reason for this is for topically treating stuff. It automatically kills all bacteria immediately on contact, and it's very, very good for topically treating. On one of the Doitsu Sankis, is sort of almost like a little bit of ulceration that was appearing towards the back end, which I think was because of the sort of Costia attacking and, you know, stress from being introduced to the pond and things like that. So what I'm going to do is I'll remove the seeing it is not immediately obvious, and then I will show you the way to sort of handle the fish and the 3 key areas to do the scrapes. So I will be back shortly. Okay, I'm back. So time for us to catch a fish. I think what we do is we'll go for one of the Sankis first. Very, very nice to scrape a Doitsu fish. You can see I've still got the air on the pond. Sometimes it's easier to remove it or turn it off even. But these seem to sort of be chilling around close to where I want to get them. So let's see if we can catch. Oh, there we go. Lovely. So this is the one that I actually want to topically treat. So what we do is we bring the net close in, and got the bowl here, and what we do is we allow the bowl to fill up with water. We slowly bring the net across, and you don't flip them in. What you do is you give the fish the option to basically just swim in, just like that. And now we're in. I always put the net over the top just to stop them from jumping out, and then what I'm going to do is I'm going to lower the water in here just so that it makes it easier to handle. So I'm not going to scrape this one, but I am going to topically treat it with some Tamodine. So if we just release a bit more of the water. So the main reason why I'm lowering this down a fair amount is because the ulceration, or the marks which I want to treat, are sort of towards the rear end of the tail here. And by me lowering the water, it's basically to allow it so that I don't have to really handle the fish too much. I can spray the Tamodine on top of it and then leave it for a couple of seconds before water goes into it. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to quickly change the camera angle just so that you can get a better view, and we'll go from there. So I shall be right back. Okay, so I'm not sure how well you can see on the rear there, but you should be able to see a sort of ulceration or the sort of marks on there. So all we're going to do is just spray this with Tamodine basically. Nice and simple and easy. As you can see, this is an absolutely gorgeous looking fish. Here we go. Just spin this around, see if we can get a decent view on the marks there. Yeah. Okay. Right. So I'm just going to quickly change the camera angle again, and then we'll treat it. Okay. So fish hiding in this corner. So we've got our Tamodine, and all it is just simply a case of lower the water slightly and spray on top of the affected area, and we try and keep it so that there's not too much water that washes into it just while we spray it. Ideally to allow it sort of a couple of seconds just to sort of soak in and make sure that it kills off anything bad. So we spray that up. And then just let it calm down a little bit, and just lower the water down a little bit more, and do the same again a couple of times. A few sprays there. Leave it a second, and that's this fish pretty much done. So what we'll do now is we'll just let it swim off. Let it swim off now. and we shall catch another one. There we go. And so what we're going to do is we'll probably do that treatment on the Sankey, probably, you know, every sort of couple of days, every sort of 3 days or so, just until we until it's healing itself. That's the great thing with Tamodine, is it helps promote the fish to heal itself, basically. The way it does that is it it kills off any bacteria, but then it also it helps the sort of mucus layer on the fish to be produced, and so on and so forth. So doing that to make sure there's no bacterial issues whatsoever, kills off anything bad within the wound itself, and hopefully we'll see some improvement. So now we shall catch the next fish. So I find it easier to do scrapes on the bigger fish. One, you get a hell of a lot more mucus, which is good. Two, I find them a lot easier to handle. Come on. Alright, so we've got the Kaku. So exact same thing as what we did with the Sankey. We get a decent amount of water in here, and you just allow the fish to slowly swim in by itself, just like that. Lovely. And we lower the water again, just because it makes it a bit easier for them to handle, and just so they don't get me absolutely soaking wet, of course. Okay, there we go. So, we got our garden scrapes. Let's just move the angle of this a second. Just down on that, probably a bit better. There we go. Cool. So, zoom in a little bit. What are we going to do? So you bring the fish across like this, and you just make sure that your other hand is in front of the pectoral fins, and all you do is flip and hold them against the side. Okay. If they push away, that's fine. Let them calm down for a second, bring them back across, and do the exact same thing again. Okay, so the first area, okay. They will calm down. Let's bring it back around. Again, come here, my friend. So the first area that we're going to scrape is the belly. Normally they're a lot calmer. You're alright, mate. You're alright. Come on, back around. So we just want to scrape the belly. Just flip, hold tight, bring it into the corner. Strong, very strong. Back around and flip. There we go. Nice and calm. It's nice and calm. You're okay. Let's try again. Here we go. Nice and calm. So, every time. Come here. You've got to be running out of energy by now, surely. So, let's try again. Turn over. It's a feisty one, this one. It's not normally this difficult. Come on. Turn over. Hold. Right, I'm going to try bringing him right into the corner. Come on. There you go. Stay. Stay. Okay. First scrape. That was along the belly. We got a decent amount of mucus. We'll just put that to the side. Okay, and all you want to do, similar thing, is you sort of hold them sort of along the head, sort of here against the wall. Just make sure not to damage the pectoral. And what we want to do is we want to get in underneath the pectoral, where the pectoral meets the body, up across the gills, and then down alongside the dorsal. If you can't do it all in one, that's fine. Just use an extra scraper. So let's just bring him around. Come here, my friend. You're very slimy, so you should give us a good mucus sample. Okay, let's do it this side. So we lift him up, and from there across the gill plate, which we got there. And now what we want to do is we just want to run it along the dorsal here. So we just run across, and we got another decent sample. So that's three very nice samples from our kahaku here. So what we do is we'll let him go. And we shall catch one more. Normally, they're a lot easier to scrape. Sometimes they just have a lot of energy, or they're just not liking me at that point, which, you know, that's fine, I get it. It's, you know, we're trying to help them, but at the same point, they don't know that. All they know is that they're being caught and being manhandled, I suppose you could say. So we will try and catch another fish, just so that we can get a decent sort of sample, and then we'll take a look at those individually and see what we come across. So they're all probably hiding down the back here, so let's bring them round to the front. Bastards. Let's try again. Maybe we'll be able to catch the other Doitsu Senki. Crafty buggers. Okay, caught the other Doitsu Senki, how nice. Okay, once again, let the bowl fill with water and allow the fish to swim in. And reduce the amount of water in there. Okay, that actually needs a bit more, my bad. Put some more in there. A little bit more. So, let's get a scrapers once more, and let me just adjust the camera angle so that you guys can see easier. We'll do some more scrapes. Okay, there we go. Let's see if we can zoom in a little bit. Okay, a little bit more down. Probably there. Alright, nice. So, once again, let's see if this one plays ball. Bring it across here, bring it around to the corner, other corner, my friend. Here we go. And as he comes across, just flip. Okay. Let's try that again. Okay. If they start thrashing a lot, just let them sit down for a second. I say sit down, just settle down for a second, and then we'll try again. Cool. Okay. And flip. Hold. And cross. Every time. Let's try again. Come on, you're okay. Straight across the belly. Another decent sample. That's one. Hey, chill yourself. See if we can now, once again, So the main reason for going across the gill plates with the net scrape is, you know, gill flukes and things like that. It's also a place that parasites tend to like to hang out. Underneath the belly as well, and underneath the pectoral. So, see if we can lift this one up, and okay. I must admit, the feeling of a Doitsu fish is lovely. It's such a soft, it's so soft. It's like baby smooth skin almost, which is what, you know, it's not just the looks, like they genuinely are an absolute impeccable fish. So let's see if we can bring it across again and see if it will allow us to do a nice skin scrape. Okay, see if we can just do it like that. Ideally you kind of want to avoid doing it in the water, just because the water can wash off the mucus sample, which is why we try to lift them slightly to allow us to get it. Okay, let's try that again. Come here. Right, let's see if you'll see. This one, it's not going to plan. Let's just see if we can get just across the dorsal, because he's not going to allow me to do the pectoral here. Okay, really, really nice mucus sample from that one there. I don't think it's going to let me do the pectoral. Let's see if we can get it across the gill plates quickly. Okay, we've got across the gill plates as well. So now we shall let this go. So what can help with identifying easier is putting all of the samples onto a singular slide and then just looking at that singular slide. Because after all, even if one fish has it, you're going to be treating the entire pond for it anyway, and it saves time. I know I personally just kind of like to put them on separate ones for each fish, just because then that way I know sort of how that particular fish is doing. But either or method I think is absolutely fine. So what I'm going to do, I'm just going to go grab my microscope slides, which are just here. Okay. So the thing about mucus from fish is it's very similar to snot, I suppose is what you would say. You know, it's actually quite annoying to try and get it on the slides. You know, it tends to sort of stick to, like in this case, the piece of plastic here. However, in this case, that from one singular one has given us a very nice, I'm not sure how I'm sure the camera's probably reflecting. You can see we've got a decent amount there so far. And then this will be the second one, which we should then get on there as well. So this one is being really sticky. You got to keep at it and it'll come off. It's literally like snot, man. I suppose it's quite similar, to be honest. It is mucus, so yeah. Okay, and then the third one, and we'll get that one on there. And that is a very nice, decent sized mucus sample. So what I prefer to do is, I'll just put this down a second. What I prefer to do is I like to add a little bit of water. It just means that the parasites and things are free swimming. You normally find them in, I suppose, what you might refer to as like a sort of river or something along those lines, which is basically where the water's moving around on the slide. So we've got a very decent amount of mucus on here. There we go. And so what we're going to do, just dip a finger and add a bit of water to it. We're going to bring this slide across, and what I find is, rather than placing it on top where you get a lot of air bubbles, what I do is I gently allow it to go down, and you'll find that what it does is it actually pushes the air bubbles away. And then if you slowly, lightly press on it, what that'll do is that will get rid of any excess water, and will then give us this. Is it going to come into focus? This lovely sort of mucus sample. So that's one. So this is our first sample done. So we'll put that to the side. We've got a second one now to do. Exact same thing. So we get the first amount on there. We'll get the second amount on there. Which doesn't seem to want to come on. There we go. And then finally, our third sample. So normally you would get more mucus from the Deutz compared to the scaled varieties, just purely because there's no scales and it's much smoother to basically grab it across. But sometimes, in the case of that one, it really didn't want to let me grab a sample from it. And you know, I don't want to stress the fish out too much. Ultimately, you know, we need to get an idea of pond health and stuff like that, which, you know, is not a problem. But at the same time, I don't want to be stressing my fish out even more and making them even more susceptible to anything. So we'll put a mucus in the middle, and once again, like before, we just allow that to close over it, and we now have two decent sized mucus samples. So what I'm going to do now is first I'm going to adjust the camera angle. There we go. There we go. So what I'm going to do now first is, you know, pack up the pond, not drop my net in the pond like I just did, and I'm going to put the net back over the top of the pond, not the fish catching net, the general net. Clean off the bowl and stuff like that, and then we're going to go inside and we're going to analyse these samples here and see how well the Fluke Pluses work. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to throw in a couple of videos that I took last Saturday to be exact, of the flukes that I found, and you can sort of see them. They're disgusting, absolutely horrible things. And then what I'll do is I'll do a video of me running through analysing these samples and see if we come across anything. So I shall be back in a little bit, and hopefully it's going to be good news that there's going to be nothing found. So I will catch you all in a little bit.